Imagine, if you will, that you have just bought a home. Congratulations, we're all very happy for you.
Yay.
However, you come to find out that every single time you go through a door, the entire layout of the home changes. No matter what you do, whether it's going to your room, going to the bathroom, going to the kitchen, every time you walk out a door, everything is changed. And that's kind of how we feel about Instagram right now. Instagram made a bunch of changes, and we're going to talk about them this week on Your Weekly Social.
Woohoo!
I'm Preston,
I'm Melissa.
and today we're talking about Instagram.
Woohoo!
So what happened?
Well, I mean, I know it's April Fool's, but we're not joking when we say this. Instagram is including new feed features and then some. A little bit of hashtag changes, and they're also switching up the way that you can view your regular Instagram feed. So now, instead of the one option that was a bit wonky that people didn't really like and got a lot of hate for, you can now do favorites, you can do chronological, or you can still have the wonky one that they're just calling home. It's kind of like a For You page, if you think about it.
So it definitely seems like they are taking the algorithmic content and feeding and finally incorporating it into most of their broad features. Is that a correct read?
I'd agree with that. So the way that it's going to work is on your regular feed, the first thing you'll initially see is going to be the home feed, which is the current feed that you have come to know. Then you have the option to switch over to your favorites, which is where it's similar to subscribing to someone that you're following, where that is like, these are your people, whether you want to separate that between like your favorite businesses in town, some of your favorite like family members, your best friends.
So then do we know what the difference is between a follow and a favorite?
Yes.
Wouldn't they be the same thing?
Well, you got to follow someone to favorite them. So there's that.
Okay.
But then when you favorite, think of it as the close friends list that you can create on your stories feature, where you can select however many accounts you want to be a favorite. And when they become a favorite, then they get their own specialized feed. If I only wanted to see things that my family posts, not be so cluttered by random businesses that I may follow, friends, and other things like that, and I just want to see things from family, I can create that favorite, and then my family's in that favorites, and that's all I'll see. Then the next one is the following one, which is where then you can only see things from people that you're following, and no more, no less. No like sponsored ads, no suggested people to follow, because that's been something that's been popping up. People have been comparing it to TikTok and the For You page versus the following feature that they have on their feeds. It's very similar to that. Well, and then what about hashtags? I know it's gonna be a good weekly social, guys. Hashtags are different, right?
So hashtags have changed in a way that makes more sense to people, I would say, in web development. One of the key things that we have been using hashtags on for a good while now, and has kind of been commonly accepted, is that hashtags are a sorting mechanism and a way to insert yourself into specific conversations. If you are in like Washington, D.C., and you want to get into that local conversation, you would use hashtag Washington, D.C., hashtag D.C. area, etc. All of these to be like, I'm here and I'm part of this conversation. It was a sorting, insert, and discovery feature. But we have kind of come to find out that that is really no longer the case. And instead, you are algorithm feeding now. So your hashtags need to be descriptive. They need to give you an understanding of what is going on in the picture carousel video that you are posting, because it is trying to figure out on your behalf which conversations you belong in. So instead of kind of overcompensating with a bunch of hashtags being like, I want to be everywhere, Instagram may now start viewing that as spam, of just, okay, about 10 of these things aren't even close and it doesn't even match what we've identified the picture to be. So instead, you will want to shift your hashtags into almost what we would describe as metadata and alt tags on a traditional website. You were describing what's going on. For example, if your picture for some reason broke, what would the text describe your picture as, so you would at least get an idea? That concept is now Instagram at large. By and large, as everything is now, you are to succumb to the algorithm. We're all trapped. You can't escape it. And that's the base thing. Instagram knows what you want.
I wish I could say April Fool's to that. I can't. So with that being said, are you saying we'd have to stop doing hashtag LOL, hashtag why, and start doing hashtag digital marketing tips?
Yeah. To a degree, if it is a relevant hashtag, then it's not particularly helpful. But if it's contextual, then that's different. If it's non sequitur hashtags that aren't relevant and you're just kind of using them for sake of using hashtags, that is not going to do you any favors going forward.
All that being said, three things that we can do, you can do, everyone can do to still find the normalcy and just kind of keep things going good on Instagram is, first, resume normal posting schedule. Don't think you have to change how you post and how frequent you post. Whatever works for you is gonna work. It will be fine.
Frequency is still your best friend.
Si, senor. Yes. And then the next thing that you can do is use other features that aren't going through so many changes, you know? Reels are still good. You get a lot of reach with Reels. Stories are still good. That's a good way to kind of keep consistent with your followers and continue engaging with them. They do only last for 24 hours though, so keep that in mind. If you want to keep it on your profile forever, add it to a highlight.
And on that, like, a lot of these features are subtly being implemented into Reels and Stories, but more of a additional boost than an overhaul. So they're still safe, we'll say.
The third point is just reevaluating what your hashtags are, what you can change, and what you can add. It doesn't mean that the hashtags that you're using right now are wrong, but there's always room to improve. There are always other hashtags you can change. You have up to 30, so you have room to mess around with the hashtags and see what works. And also keep in mind, the feed changes and features and the hashtags thing are in a process of changing. Your feeds are going to look different. Your reach and your analytics overall might seem a bit weird and either low or really high, depending. And that's because the things are changing. Things will normalize out and like level out as Instagram does its final, like, this is it. This is what it is. And we're all going to figure it out. So your followers, we're going to be messing around with it. Things are going to look a little different, but it will go back to this new normal. Hopefully within, like, I want to say the next month or so, but Instagram is aiming for like mid-year.
But the real joke is, as soon as they fix one thing, another will change. These platforms will be in flux until they're done. April Fools, if you thought there's going to be stability in these platforms, there really isn't. But again, a good point. Monitor your analytics. Understand what your posts are doing, how they're operating. Understand what's working and what isn't. Pivot, adjust, and always be experimenting and testing, because if it doesn't work one week or one update, it might be your big winner in the next one. You don't know. So keep your mind open, your posts and your schedule optimistic, and make somebody laugh this week. You can do it. You're clever. You're so
I believe
smart.
in you.
You can do it.
I believe in you.
And this has been your weekly social. And if you would like more information about the ever-changing ecosystem of Meta, Google, Instagram, and all of the wonderful tools, tips, and tricks, please like, please comment, please subscribe. You could ring the bell. And we will see you.
You should ring the bell. Not that you could. You should, so that you know. And you can rely on our consistency that we will post again and you will get more information, because it's your weekly social.
And we'll see you next week on your weekly social.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.